9:14, having heard the appeal, is there any decision? Does any board member wish to make a motion?
I'll make a motion to dismiss the grievance for untimeliness in accordance with district policy FNG, and also move to find that the action taken by administration was appropriate and move to uphold the level 2 decision.
Second. Have a motion and a second. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Okay. Last item on the agenda is board discussion. I think that's just setting our meeting time for next month.
Yes, we need to move from I think it's the 19th, what it's scheduled for, and move it to the next week, the 24th. So we can
Tuesday,
do
which
campus.
is Tuesday because it's
Halloween
Thursday.
the following Thursday.
So you want to do it on the 24th?
Halloween's the next week.
Yeah, this is the 31st, that's a
Halloween's
week
the next
later.
week, it's the 24th, yeah. Sorry.
I thought we always did it on the fourth Thursday.
No, it's the third Thursday.
Oh, okay.
Third
But we're
Thursday.
moving, y'all wanted to
We're gonna
move it.
move it.
17th to the 24th.
Dr. Vu's gonna be at a training, and she was gonna be here for the campus
Okay.
improvement
You're right.
plans, so.
So we're gonna do the 24th.
4th at 7?
Okay.
Is everybody good with the 24th?
October. Yep.
Yes.
Is that?
7 o'clock?
Yep.
Okay.
Anything else?
Yes. So,
Okay.
and then, talking about the strategic planning and team of 8 trainings, do you want to start having some special meetings? If we are, we need to set a special meeting to start doing some of this and going over the things that the long-term planning that we need to do.
Yeah.
Yep.
So when would you like to set one of those meetings for?
Well, how quickly you want to, again, the state trustees meeting that we had today in discussion with Drew Howard, one of the issues they're talking about is the required 3-hour training that we have to satisfy every 2 years to deal with the new components of student performance, valuing student performance, goal setting. All of that has to be done, and they're saying that we won't be able to do it with a team of 8 in the context of that, because you have to have an outside trainer. They're wanting to have somebody that's trained specifically on those issues. So, understand if we do a team of 8 for a certain number of hours, we're gonna have 3 more hours to do on that, plus an hour of,
We were just at Region 11 today, and they were addressing this, and Dale Latham, do y'all know Dale Latham
Yeah.
from Region 11? He's doing a lot of those trainings for the state, so he does both team of 8 and those trainings, so I figured we would have him come in and do that. And we're gonna have to develop those things as we're looking at with what we're looking at with our universal screeners and how we're gonna measure those things. That's what we're looking at putting into place. And so we'll have more information, but it's gonna be a development. It's gonna be developing as we go through it.
but what Drew is saying is the TEA won't have the regulations done for what we have to accomplish probably until January.
Yeah.
So
I'm more looking at, when I say strategic planning, like the areas of need that we discussed, and going through that with you so we can start targeting some things to be working towards. You're already hearing some of the media center, you're already hearing also the PAC. Those are some facilities issues.
And you probably got to do
Just
the other
areas, our
auditorium too.
curriculum, the curriculum areas that we're addressing that we sat down the other day and I had a map, a web of all these things, and we went through and just targeted things that we need to start looking at. And so,
One of the things that Chad and I discussed, and I'd like to get y'all's feedback, is that, how on the campus reports, we had them put it in context of our goals, our full goals,
Right.
and the indicators, but I think it was, the goals, who was leading, what was leading what, and they said it was kind of, so what I suggested to Chad is that maybe we turn it around and have them say, what would be the significant goal and indicator that you could report on? And then that way, they supply us with at least direction for a couple of our goals that we would set as a district as we replace and update our goals. you
One
know,
of the things that we're doing with our leadership group is a book study called The One Thing. And that one thing, basically, where they target what their main priority is and how you get to that. And from that, you can have a improvement plan that's this thick, but who knows what's in that? Or you can have a one-pager where you've got it all right there and you know exactly what you're moving towards. And I think that's good. That's the goal. We're moving our leadership team that way, and I think we need to do some visioning and stuff, but that's where the team of 8 comes in. What are some of the things that you're looking for with those goals, and how do we mesh it all?
Well, we have an obligation under the current law in HB3 now that we have to provide specific information that shows progress monitoring to improve student outcomes.
For reading through 3rd grade, math through 3rd grade,
those
and
subjects.
CC and career, college, military readiness for your secondary.
So
high
can we
school.
not get them to say what those measures are that we can then build into our goal?
Well, we'd already talked about that with my evaluation, and that's what we were going to use part of that. But I think, those are things that we have to do, and they're out there anyway. But what are the one things that we really want to target on each campus that we're looking at? And there are other things, but there's strategic planning, which is like things that you've got to get done, and part of that is facilities, part of that is curriculum, part of there's all these different things to the strategic plan. Goals are that's just a part of that. Goals are something you're shooting for, but your strategic plan is things. How are you moving to get where you need to be?
So you go let the principals kind of pick their one thing that they're wanting and bring it to us, and then that kind of.
I don't know if that would be. We even discussed a subcommittee or whatever we want to, but I want us to frame those goals in terms of what would be what is their measure of success. As campus leaders, how do they measure success on their campuses? So that then we can, because I think the goals should umbrella everything. Our goals should frame our strategic plan. That should frame everything we do. The goals we have now, they're nice platitudes, but they're not really doing that. So now I just thought it would be we could innovate by saying how do you gauge success on your campuses? And then have us frame our goals in terms of that. So I don't know if we want to have a 3-person subcommittee that does that, so that we could, as board members, sit down with those people, or have them meet together and bring it back to us as a board as a whole. Either way, I would really like to get their input before we sit down and have an 8-hour meeting on writing goals without gaining that type of insight. Because I don't guess I wasn't surprised, but I was a little surprised at the level of how they said they were having to mold things to fit those indicators and the goals in our old plan, the way they presented things.
Well, I agree.
That wasn't really what they were looking at. So,
and I don't think it's what the state's looking for us in terms of evaluating what we're doing.
Right.
I mean, the state's going to want to see one thing, and that's. They're not going to care so much about all those other things that make us a great district that aren't measured. And I think we want the input from staff on that. But I'm also saying that, Dr. Vu has to be able to say, I can show you how you can monitor student achievement.
Right.
Okay. I don't want the Karen Furman approach. I want the first grader approach, where you can tell me, here's an arrow that shows they're scoring this way, and something simple. But I think each campus can show us the areas for improvement. And how they believe they can achieve it. Obviously, we the superintendent directs that, but they can certainly say, we can get there this way, we can't get there that way.
Right.
Well, that's why I was excited when we talked about in the summer about the MAP test, because the MAP test does exactly that, which is gives them beginning, middle, and end of the year.
I think that's an easy way to measure what we're looking. That's what we've already talked about. Easy way to do the state requirement for both math and reading.
But how far does that MAP test go for us? We only bought a very limited number of licenses.
This year it goes K3. Our goal is to move it up. It's expensive, so we want to move it up.
But that's where we go back to the strategic planning, as we look at taking away some of the other things, you know, instead of having 4 universal screeners, we have 1. So all the money that we're not spending on those 4, but we gotta get out of those contracts
Okay.
that we have.
It also covers science.
Yeah, no, I know.
So
Well, as I
those
was saying, like the high school, I know the high school and junior high, they already pay for other programs, but they're all, this department does this program, this department does this program. So we are spending money on programs right now. It would be better if we could just have one.
So, you know, my purpose with a special meeting is not to sit there and have a, you know, when I say team of 8, it's just to sit there and kind of start focusing and funneling things. We can do those later. As we want to, we can do that in the spring. But what I'm talking about right now is just where we're starting to talk strategically, the areas that, you know, whenever you hired me, you said, come in and assess it. Well, I've assessed, and now I need to tell you what I found and where I feel like we need to go and where
When do
we
you want
feel
to do
like we
that?
need
I'm
to
ready
go.
to do that. When do you want
So
to
that's
do
where, you know, I can do that in October at the regular meeting, or we can have a special meeting to do that.
Well, we need to do our team of 8, so, you know, and that's where we had talked about getting, that we could have someone speak to us for a portion of it or all of it. Do they have to conduct the whole meeting for the team of 8? What is the ruling on that?
I think the team of 8 has to be 3 hours,
Right.
so, yeah.
Well, but we, you know, all of this in direction that, you know, I think we need to give Chad a set of goals that have been updated and retuned and, you know, no later than January, in my mind. You know, that is my drop dead date, that if we don't have a new set of goals and indicators in his hand, by that time, we have miserably failed, so.
And
You're just gonna make them up.
our-
Yes.
Our
I'll
campus
just write
administrator's
some
gonna be giving the
goals.
campus improvement, you know, plans that they're coming up with in October. I can give a strategic kind of assessment of where we are as a district at the same time if you want, or we can, you know, I just didn't want to draw it out with all these reports. October meeting could become very long if we're doing all of this stuff.
So
We can
if,
sit there and do a special meeting that.
Well, that even goes
long.
back to that HEB item that, you know, our dashboards. We're gonna want that, you know, the stuff on those dashboards to reinforce or give us indicators
Yes.
towards those goals, you know, that we can pull up a dashboard. Good, you know, and so, but the first thing we have to do is write the goal and the indicator. So, you know, I just think we need to get input. I would feel really guilty if we did it the way we did it last time, so.
I'm all for that.
So I need to give you input, and I need to know if you want to do it in a special meeting or if you want to do it in the regular meeting.
I vote for a special meeting.
Special's fine.
Special.
Can you invite the principals at that time?
I think we could,
Good?
We can invite them,
Absolutely.
we'll need to tell them enough time in advance.
absolutely. Let's give them time in advance. Let's pick 3 dates and send it out to the board and find the one that works.
so do we want to do that week of the board meeting or the week after?
The week after is Halloween week.
Let's do it Halloween.
Hey, we don't have any kids home.
Special meeting doesn't have to be
Right.
long. It could be,
No.
it could be an hour meeting or
Yeah,
30-minute
that
meeting
can
or whatever. It's just enough to get where we can have some conversations.
We could even do it before the regular board
That's
meeting.
what I was thinking, yeah.
If we
6 to
wanted to.
7.
We could do a dinner meeting before the regular board meeting.
17th?
Okay.
24th?
Can we do that?
Before the regular board meeting?
Thought they
Can you
said
make it before the
24th.
regular board meeting, Sean?
7 o'clock or 6 o'clock, I guess.
Just 1 hour, we can do it 1
That's what
hour.
he's thinking, a 1 hour, you know, kind of a formative
I'm
just
good with
session,
that.
just a
Okay,
dinner
so I'm
board
gonna
meeting.
write down
I
special
just wasn't gonna be
meeting.
able to come at 4.
I can't get here before, I won't be able to get here before.
So if we start at 6,
5:30?
Six.
Yeah, if we did it 5:30 to
Michael.
6:30 or 5:30 to.
24th.
To 6:45.
start at 6 o'clock
We can
on,
bring some food.
I mean, I can make 6 easy. I can make
Okay,
6 easy.
5:30 or
I think
6?
5:30.
If we're gonna eat too.
Yeah, I think 5:30
Okay.
would be better. And then let's feed our campus leaders as well, so.
5:30 to
you do it?
6:45.
I'd have to catch the 4 o'clock train, get
So
here.
do they know what we're gonna want to
hear?
hear from them on that
It'd
meeting?
be close.
Please go tell them.
Okay.
We're eating first.
Let's get a room for that too. Let's not do that in here.
Do you want
Right.
to do it
it's a regular meeting to record it.
Development?
The regular meeting will be at 7, but I mean, wherever we meet, let's eat and have that
And then come over
in a
here.
room where we can sit around a table, right?
Right.
So I don't know if we want to meet over in
High school.
Somewhere in the
Yes,
high school.
somewhere in the high
and
school. Let's
then
pick
walk over.
one of the
Or, I mean,
the
it'd
new
be
wing
short.
rooms or something.
Well, you're right.
Yes.
So, you
Okay.
We don't wanna eat in one of the locker rooms back here?
know.
No. Have you smelled those locker rooms?
Coach's
The
office.
minute football starts, it is bad down that way.
I was thinking,
There's a story here, you know,
concession.
he's working in one of the
They
Grand
didn't
Prairie
have
high
any chairs.
schools.
Go up to the press
And
box.
the football players take their food from the cafeteria and they go to the locker room to eat it.
Oh.
They're
I
just
used to
asking
have-
for staff.
I used to have film sessions with my guys, so yeah, in the locker room. All right, chamber golf. Any of you guys golfers that are interested in golfing?
I like to think that I'm a golfer, but I'm
Go.
not very good.
That'd be
Is
good,
it
yeah.
It's on a
Go.
Monday.
If anybody wants free money, then sign me
Scramble or
up.
is it play your own ball?
Scramble, October 27th.
John likes to play.
Only Greg will play.
When is it?
I need Greg to cover up.
You need G to, that F and
What day did you
G.
say it was?
Monday, October 28th.
Oh, sorry,
It
Laura.
starts about 10:30. I think, well, it starts at 11:30, but I think you be there about 10:30.
I don't know if they can make the 12th.
So if you're interested in playing, let me know so I can set up teams, so.
I guess in that morning to
Yeah, till
late afternoon.
afternoon. All right, we're working on tomorrow you should receive a weekly board report from me. So I'm gonna start giving you a s'mores report every week. Inside of that will be the Friday focus with G embedded into it. So instead of sending out it through an email, it'll just be part of the s'mores, so.
Is that just internal? Is that just for us, or is that gonna be
Friday
shared?
focus will still be on the website, but what I'm saying is it'll just be embedded for y'all into the
The report. The board
board.
report.
Is just for y'all, yeah. So it's board report. Okay. All right, and then, public comments. This is September 1st, the new laws kicked in. We had a new form over there, but I need to find out from you, how, do we want to do public comment, continue to have a public comment section where it's just open? And then have, because you have to allow now for public comment on board items. So do you want to have both? Do you want to have one, just the public comment on,
I would hate the
Board
idea
items.
of the public response. We say we had public comment on anything, now we're only allowed it on agenda items. I think it ought to be on both.
Yeah.
I think you should fill it out if it's on an agenda item, they tell you
Well,
if it's not.
the only, the stipulation is, the suggestion, I think that was a good one was, did they already update it for this one?
the form?
Yeah. well,
No.
Well, they tweaked it for this one because we haven't made a decision on it.
Oh, you're wanting the
What
form.
your options, we sent you the stuff, I gave you all the paperwork on the different options and things. Basically,
But
you
it is-
don't have to allow for just general public comment.
Right.
You do have to allow for comment on each item.
Right.
That's an agenda item that's being voted on, or just agenda item. The other thing is that
See how they put you up?
if you can either do that all at once at the beginning,
Right.
where they have to speak before you start the meeting, or you can make it on,
During that time.
where you have it on each item. So that's what you need to
Well,
decide.
and you can, the thing is, the only ones you have to allow are those, the ones that have a topic on the agenda. So, if you had 20 on topics, and then some just on general public comments, you could do the ones that are on the topics and push the ones that are just general public comments to the next meeting, or not address them at all. So that's the limit, that's the way that they're suggesting, that you don't, if you don't want to take away your general public comment section, you can leave it, but you need to have them identify whether it's just general public comment or it's an agenda item. So, because you have to give time for the agenda items,
Right.
but you don't have to give time for public comments, and if it got out of hand, where
The
it
thing
was.
with the agenda items is every person who wants to speak on it has to be allowed to speak.
Yeah.
Where the general public comments
Does not have,
doesn't have to be like
but
that.
I mean, you have the flexibility to say, because of the length of comment on the agenda items, we're gonna move this to the end of the meeting,
Yes.
or move to, I mean,
So it would behoove you to put the agenda items at first, to where the speakers for that are speaking first, and then have your general public comments right after that, but have both of them at the beginning of the meeting. Don't embed the other ones throughout the meeting.
Yeah, because then you wouldn't know how long it
well, the other
takes.
thing that they mentioned is important to have a very clear policy statement about what we're doing. You get 5 minutes.
Yes.
You know, if there's more than 5 speakers on it and they're the same mindset, select a speaker. I mean, there are a lot of things they said we ought to.
Can't set the time. You can't tell them they can't speak. They can speak, but you can set the time
Time
limit
for
for them,
speaking,
yes.
Okay, so I told her to add
Should-
general item or agenda here so that it's date right.
Is it better to have it at the first of the meeting or the end? If you have it at the end, you may not get very many.
Well, yeah.
Problem is though, it has to happen before you deliberate on the item. So
Oh, okay.
if it's an agenda item, you have to have it occur before we take action on the item. Now, you could have all your discussion and then after they talk, vote on the item at the end, but that seems kind of wasteful. I mean, they have to speak on it.
That makes sense.
And it's probably safer to let them blow their guts out or talk about it at the beginning, and then we have our conversation about it.
I think for us, just as we've experienced lately, that we don't get a whole, it's been a long time since we've had a train of public commenters, but we can, as long as they'll put down this is an agenda item or a general item, I think we'll be good.
Okay, so at the beginning,
I'm waiting till the.
at the beginning, both of them at the beginning?
I think it should be at the beginning.
Yeah.
Okay, all right.
But we do need to get that
But
delineation.
we do reserve the right on the general stuff to push it out.
Yes, and that's board decision.
Yeah, and you may wanna put that as part of,
How long it's
the sign
going.
up.
So,
Is that it?
Yeah, that's gonna be.
Request to have a board, someone email, I can't remember, it might have been Tracy, but someone wanted to see if the board would like to have a trunk for the Boo Bash at Patterson, so I'm willing to host, I'll just put my truck up there, whatever, but it's Saturday the 19th, 5 to 6:30,
October 19th.
5 to 6:30, so I'll be there sometime before 5.
Can we just give you candy? I'll be out
That's
of town that weekend.
Pretty much what I'm asking,
Okay.
yeah.
What about money?
Do you wanna show up? Great, but really, I just need some candy.
I don't need candy, but I got money.
I'll give you some
Wait, I got a-
money or
I got
candy,
leftover
whatever.
Tic
but
Tac.
I'll
How much should we?
October 19th is also
this
the
water?
Beautify Kennedale cleanup that morning, right?
I don't even think I have money.
Yes, we'll have that on the calendar for you. The other thing is October 1st, you've all been invited to read at Delaney for their pancake, I think they said that earlier. So if you're going to participate in that, so I got my book to. so I can-
Contact for that, I can't remember.
It's Melissa Garrett.
I'm reading Llama Llama Red Pajama, there we go.
We have volleyball that night, so I already told them I could.
Probably politically
what
incorrect
time,
here to.
I'll probably be halfway through it before I get home.
All right.
And we're still looking for our attendee spreadsheet. Right?
To what?
The attendee spreadsheet. Events, calendar
That's
events.
what I said, we're gonna have a mock-up for you next month.
Of the attendee spreadsheet too?
Yeah.
All right,
all of it,
good.
yeah.
Don't get off. All right, we good?
Yes.
We're adjourned.
Thank you, guys.
Let's,